The first format of technology I used in my coursework was Blogger to store all of my work. I'd never used a blog before, so I had no idea how each of the pages worked. Despite this, it was actually a very easy thing to get to grips with. Within a matter of days, I was confident with uploading images and posts and links to my Blogger. The main problem I faced with Blogger was the confusion when uploading HTMLs to embed different technologies. With lots of different codes all jumbled together, it was quite difficult to read them and understand where to paste my link in order to successfully embed it. However, after a few efforts of trying to embed a Prezi, I eventually worked out the exact place I needed to be pasted, and now it's quick and easy for me to do. During the research and planning stages of my coursework, I often use SurveyMonkey to gain audience research and feedback from my specific target audience. I made surveys and sent them to my target audience via email and Twitter to obtain a wide range of results. SurveyMonkey was probably the easiest piece of technology I used during my coursework, as it was clear and simple to use. Each step was explained well and was quick to complete. As you can see, you just click to add a question types here. You choose it, type the question text in, save and add the next question and move on. Therefore, I had no problems making my own surveys. This was also an effective technology to use, as it allowed me to gather some key research that I was able to use in the early stages of my planning, construction and evaluation. Prezi was one of my favourite formats of technology that I used during my coursework, which is why I used it to answer 3 of my evaluation questions. I found getting used to Prezi very swift, as there were only a few basic tools I needed to use to make a good presentation which included everything I needed. For the Prezi that I made my music magazine research, I was able to add images, text and headline with ease. And when it came to my evaluation, I was also added audio to each slide, which was time consuming but still very easy to do. Therefore, like SurveyMonkey, I had no problems with Prezi and was able to use it effectively to answer a few of my evaluation questions. As you can see, you just add a new slide, type your text in, add images up here. You can edit it easily. Sorry, bear with me a second. I'll just show you how you can edit things easily on Prezi. So yeah, as I was saying, you add a new slide, type your text in here, inserting images is easy. Just insert with this, or you can copy and paste it from the internet. And then for each step of my evaluation question, I added a voiceover using this, and then just uploaded it to my Prezi very easily. To upload audio to my blog, I also used 2 different methods. First of all, I recorded voice memos on my iPhone and emailed them to myself so I could insert them into presentations such as Prezi. The other method was to upload the recording to archive.org. This enabled me to embed podcasts from my music magazine research and evaluation question 5 onto my blog. The only problems I faced with archive.org was that I was unsure when and where the embedded link was being uploaded to. It took a few minutes to upload, so all I had to do was be patient before it popped up on my recordings page. Embedding the links onto Blogger afterwards was straightforward, as I'd only learned how to do it. I also then used my iPhone to record audio clips for my evaluation questions, which again took time. So yeah, I just added them up to this, and then on my blog I copied and pasted the embedded link onto my HTML page, and here it is. Another relatively simple format of technology to use was GoAnimate. I stayed away from the more advanced video makers as I knew I only had to make a short video, so I went with the wildlife GoAnimate as it was the most straightforward to make. It gave a step-by-step guide to making the video, so I did not encounter any problems with my experiences with GoAnimate. I was effectively able to use GoAnimate to showcase some of my magazine research on a different format. Photoshop was the hardest technology format that we had to use for me. I had no experience of using a Photoshop beforehand, so I was very naive when I came to use it for my prelim task. However, as with most things, practice makes perfect, and after a while of playing about with Photoshop and eventually getting used to the tools, I built up a decent level of Photoshop skills. This is apparent in the difference in the standard from my prelim task to my final piece. as you can see here. The main tools I learned how to use were the lasso cropping tools to remove the background of the image, and also how to create new layers so that the image could overlap the masthead, and also how to liquefy the image to smooth out the edges if they had been skewered when I was resizing it. I also learned how to do more simple things such as putting in text, multiple images, banners and shape, etc. And then in the end, overall, it brought everything together and I was created a successful front cover, contents page and double page spread. Windows Photo Editor was the only format of technology other than taking photos that I'd actually had previous experience of using. It was a very simple process, but was necessary to remove red eye, redness of the skin, spots and straight hairs to make the photos look as professional as possible. I had no problems with editing these images as it was something that I'd done many times before. So the only problem that I did have was when I tried to open the image in the editor on the college computers, it wasn't letting me open them. However, eventually I realised it would only open images that were saved in the pictures folder, so I just had to copy them into this folder and the problem was solved. I used two different cameras during my coursework. The first was a small standard camera, of which I don't know the name of. This camera was very basic and only took average quality shots, as you can see from the prelim photo here. This impacted the overall quality of my prelim front cover as the image was out of focus and I had to edit out the background because the camera picked up the lighting so poorly. Fortunately, when it came to my final piece, I was able to use an SLR camera which takes much higher quality shots, as you can see from this image. This meant that my magazine looked a lot more professional as a result. Because of the lens focus, it meant that I could take images from different angles with different backgrounds. The difference in the quality is very apparent from the stand of these photos. I didn't really encounter any problems when using the cameras. I've taken hundreds of photos in the past, so I know how I can make the best images. On Photoshop, I then used myfont.com to find more interesting and genre-relevant font for the masthead of my front cover. It was easy enough as I just searched hip-hop into the search bar. Once I'd settled on a font, I had to print screen it as I wasn't able to download the font and upload it to Photoshop. I then had to paste it onto Photoshop and edit out the rest of the screenshot. This didn't cause me any problems, but it was a little more time consuming. I used Powtoon to create my magazine pitch. I used this format because I wanted to make something different to the other technologies I'd used. I'd also never used Powtoon before, so it took us some getting used to. Working out how to lengthen each slide so that each feature could come and go accordingly took a while to get used to. But by the end of using it, I was feeling confident with what I was making. I think that I used Powtoon effectively as I created a funky, enjoyable presentation to pitch my magazine well. And the last bit of technology I used was Camtasia, which I've used to record this video you're watching now. I saw Camtasia used on another student's blog and thought it was a good idea to do for this evaluation question. I thought it would be a lot harder than it actually was, and really all I had to do was download the trial and then press record by turning off the video and just keeping the sound on, and then having up all of my tabs here so I could show you them quickly and easily. This is effective because it gives you a visual representation of exactly what technology I used, and also means I can maneuver around the pages, look at what I've done, and explain them clearly.